Make sure this thing's balanced. Okay, that looks good. This camera looks good. We're live at the same time. What's up, everybody? We're gonna have an interview with the Swede. Sounds different, right? His name is not Adam. It's
Adam.
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 Adam. Okay, his name is Adam. Hold on, turn around the camera here. All right, so this is Adam, right?
Yes, Adam from Sweden.
All right. And when did you first come here to the States?
Yeah, first time I've been to the States was like maybe 3 years ago. And I've been here 3 times before, but this time I was arriving in the beginning of October. And I was planning to stay here at Standing Rock, writing an article for a Swedish indigenous magazine. Maybe be here for 1 week, 2 weeks, and then go for a vacation in California. And then was my plan to leave this country in the beginning of November. But I'm still here in North Dakota.
So you were supposed to come for a week?
Yeah.
Okay, and you've been here how long then? What's your total?
Yeah, almost 2.5 months. Yeah, I'm almost a legal immigrant now, so...
You just need to get married, right?
Yeah.
All right. Well, one of the things I was curious about is just kind of your perspective on the United States versus Sweden, and is this your first time here, or you've been here before?
Yeah, I've been here 3 times before in US.
Okay.
And yeah, I know this country was a mess in many ways. I've seen the wars in the Middle East. I've seen a lot of refugees coming to Sweden. Sweden have taking action. Some specific towns in Sweden were taking in more refugees than the whole US from Iraq 1 year. So I've seen the messy things that this country have done in the world, and I was kind of critical to this whole country. A lot of my Swedish friends, some of my white American friends, they talking about US in a way it's like the shining star, it's the democracy, it's freedom. So I was not having the perfect image of this country before I got here. But coming here this time, even if I was here with like critical eyes, it's a big shock in many ways to see the corruption, to see the racism from the police, from the citizens here in North Dakota, and the fact that this pipeline is illegal, and the local police forces and the police forces nationally, they protecting $1 billion company. And I mean, it's for me, it's like coming to another planet. Like I said before, science fiction for me. It's a big shock, and I mean, it's not a big shock in a global perspective, but US have the picture in the world, like we spreading democracy. It's because of that we're going into this country, and we want to give democracy. Yeah, fix your own fucking democracy instead of like and same with like we're gonna fight terrorism, but you still have terrorism here in North Dakota against the own citizens of this country. So in many ways, this have been a shock in a Scandinavian perspective, because we actually have a real democracy here in my home country, if you compare to this.
Yeah, you say you actually have a real democracy, so can you kind of detail that a little bit or explain that a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, for example, if you compare the Swedish democracy with the parliament system, I was voting for the Green Party last election, and they got 6.5% of the votes or something. And it's much easier to make a change when you have the parliament system. So if you're getting over 4%, then you're in the parliament, and then you can start to make the change. Here you have 2 corrupt parties, and it's really hard for some other parties to like getting over. But in Sweden you can start to make the change if you're getting over 4%, and then start to make the change. And for example, I've been working a lot with refugees in my home country, Sweden. Syrian refugees, Iraq refugees, Afghan refugees. And if you coming to Sweden like 14 years old just by yourself, and the system will take care of you. And if you compare this with this country, a lots of people that are born in this country, the Syrian refugee that's coming to Sweden, 14 years old, can have better opportunities in life than people that actually born in this country. No matter if you're white or black or native, if you're born in the wrong area in this country, you might gonna be stuck there because the system keep people down, and the system it's built for like dividing people. Its system is built for keeping people on knowledge about the past. And I have a lot of those friends that they still think this is the best country in the world. And for example, 2014, I was in Boulder, Colorado during Memorial Day, and they were talking about the past in this country, and they were honored those guys that were serving the military from the 17th century when they were starting the genocide in this country. And they like this keep on glorifying those days. They were keep on glorifying the Second World War when they were dropping bombs against Japan. That was a war crime. And I think lots of people in this country need to wake up. They need to start talking about the past in a new way. They start talking about the past and stop living in a lie. I mean, the German people, they don't glorify the days when they were having Adolf Hitler, and they are sad about the history. I think lots of people need to come out that bubble and start talking about the past in a new way here and moving forward. And I hope this movement and the fact that lots of people will be awake now with Donald Trump. Lots of people that were not taking action before, they taking action now. That's my feeling. So maybe it can come out something positive when, like, with Donald Trump. Yeah.
Something positive to come out of the negative might wake more people up.
Yeah, the ashes is the best soil. So.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah.
Yeah.
There was one thing you told me that was funny when we were talking earlier. You were talking about bumper stickers.
Yeah, and I don't know. I don't wanna like.
It's just kind of funny.
Yeah, everything is not better in Sweden. For example, here in US, one thing that's much better here, that's the bumper sticker. And we don't have bumper sticker in Sweden. I was actually thinking about that. Why does we don't have bumper sticker in Sweden? And my clue about this is we actually have a real democracy. So we don't need to express ourselves with bumper stickers. We don't need to express ourselves with stickers on our laptop. So so that's the thing I like with US, all the bumper stickers on the car. Because maybe that's the thing, when you can't express yourself through a real democracy, you express yourself through your cars.
That shit's funny. Hold on, let me turn this camera on. Let's see. That shit's funny, right? We don't have a real democracy to express ourselves for real in the political system, so we got bumper stickers to express ourselves because our voices aren't heard by our democracy. That's a good one, man.
Yeah.
All right,
Oligarchy.
The oligarchy, yeah. What does oligarchy mean?
I don't know. Ask someone with more time on the university.
Yeah.
It's not good at all.
Yeah.
I mean, the corporation having too much power in this country. That's a real fact. And I think if you're not doing it now, you will have a big problem. And you've seen those big corporations that polluting the water in Flint, Michigan. The same happens in Texas right now, and I think that's dangerous. It's dangerous when a few rich people having the power and can they rule so much, so they can forcing people to be on knowledge. They can forcing people for dividing people. So. I think it's time to rise up for US, because I've seen a lots of good things with this country, a great nature, and a lots of people that actually want to have a real change. And a lots of Swedish people were hoping for Bernie Sanders during the primary campaign, and I think I mean this country deserves so much better than the system right now.
Yeah. Just a little change of subject. You were just mentioning you had been here. You planned to be here for a week. You ended up staying for all this time.
Yeah.
But you got some good work in, and I think some of your articles helped, didn't they? With the bank over there.
Yeah, I was together with some Sami people in Scandinavia. Sami, that's the indigenous community of Northern Europe. So we were helping each other. I was here for a long time, and we were targeting the biggest bank in Norway that were investing in this project and also giving loans to this project. So they were actually dropping out with the investment, but they're still giving loans. And yeah, I've heard something. Maybe you should do an interview with the Sami people out here too. But they actually consider if they're gonna drop out with the loans too. But it's harder with contracts, and it seems like I mean this company, Energy Transfer Partner, Ambridge, those companies have been to those fights before, and they know how they can sue states. They know how they can sue people. They know how they can sue towns. So. And that's a big problem, and I think if we're talking about TTP, those trade agreement that's giving even more power to a corporation, so they can sue countries, poor countries in the third world. They were suing Quebec for the province in Canada for banning fracking. So
wow.
that's a big problem for a democracy when some people, some corporations getting too much power.
Right. One of the things we talked about today with Candy that I found interesting was one of the corporations that owns a lot of the local print press, Bismarck Tribune, a lot of Williston, a lot of their newspapers. It was bought out by a corporation that has oil ties and oil investments. So, so we found out that basically a corporation with oil ties has, sorry guys, there's some people, some people randomly come out of the elevator. But anyways, so we're talking about oligarchy and corporations having too much power, and now they're owning the media as well. Have you seen like differences in your experience? You're someone from a different country. And you have no reason really to like lie about anything. Yeah. So your experience, has it been different than what you're seeing portrayed in the media?
Yeah, I mean that's also when I was talking about a real democracy. In Sweden, we have a real democracy in the media way too. When we're having a strong public service company that's independent media, that maybe that's the main factor in the media, and if you want to be a like serious media, you can't like be pro oil company. You can't be related to, you can't be in the same bed as big corporations, and that's a really big.
People over profits. People are more important than profits.
Yeah, and that's a big problem here when those companies are so related to politicians. They are so related to media, and that's dangerous. And you see it here when those corporations. Like this girl here said, like now it's corporations before people. It should be the opposite, and we can't like continue this rape of Mother Earth. And even in Sweden, if we have like we are in the front in many ways when it comes to recycling and renewable, but it's still enough. It's still not enough. We need to do more, and we need to. Make a change, and I hope this movement can growing in many ways. So that's also a thing I like with you as the whole if you can call this some kind of environmental movement. it's much more hardcore here because you need to be hardcore. But I think the Swedish environmental movement have a lot of learn from this whole movement and how you do direct action against companies. But because without, for example, Red Warrior Camp, I think this pipeline would be built by now. You need to do direct actions when you can't go to court because, yeah, if not, I mean, this is unreal in so many ways, and see the police brutality and the way of violence. I mean, this when we're talking about American culture, what is American culture? I mean, for me, it's like violence and guns. And I think it's time to make a change in many ways. And I feel when I'm having a lots of anger, I will not. When I'm saying I'm angry, it not means I will do something strange. I would use the anger for like a motivation for working against those kind of issues. And at the same time, I'm angry on many ways in the U.S. society. At the same ways, I have seen the most beautiful things when people coming together here at Standing Rock. It's clear. I've been here 2.5 months, and I think this is so far in my life the trip, the journey that have been affected me most in my life. Maybe in my whole entire life. So many people I've met, and so much knowledge. And I've been reading about the history here before. But it's another way of, you get another way of understanding when you're talking with the real people and talking with people that actually were sending to boarding school when they were young. I was talking with an old lady, Rose, and she was telling me about the boarding school time when she was coming home for Christmas the first time, and she was trying to talk Lakota language with her parents, but she couldn't because it was like they were transforming her tongue during that first half year at the boarding school, and that's affecting me a lot. Even if I was reading like Bury My Heart That Wounded Me some years ago, that was a book that were affecting me. But coming here, talking with the real people, and talking about the struggling in this country, and another thing that was affecting me when they are not surprised about the police brutality, because this is the reality for a lot of people here, and people that are like pro DAPL, pro against and are racist against native people, black people. I think they should come here. They should spend some days here and see this movement from the inside, and then I think a lot of people would change their mind. And because this is not a native issue, it's a human issue. If the water get polluted here, it will be polluted in the whole Missouri River, and that's I mean, if you don't have drinking water, then it could mean a war in the future, because then it will be a war for clean water.
All right, I think that's a good way to end it. You went to your first sweat today, huh?
Yeah, first sweat, and I've been working hard here, and I was kind of tired, and I got the opportunity with Don Nanakim from Washington. I've been taking some pictures, doing some film with him the last months here. So it was meant to be. I was waiting for the right moment. If the right moment won't show up, I would wait for the future for Go For One. But I was going there tonight, and I was very thankful. It was it was a great end of a really emotional trip here, a journey, and I tell all my native friends here that I got that if you want to have a break from Donald Trump, come to Sweden and charge your batteries and keep fighting. Sweden stand with Standing Rock.
All right. Awesome, bro. Appreciate it. Okay, guys. Look, there's a camera. We're interviewing him twice. But I'm going to get going here. What up, man? Say hi. All right, guys. That was a good interview. It's good to get other people's perspective, because sometimes it's like, How do you explain to a fish who lives in the ocean what water is? It's all the fish knows. How do you explain to an American what America is like when he has nothing to compare it to? So definitely good to get other people's perspectives, other cultures, and really learn what we can from all of this. So have a good night, everybody. We'll talk to you soon. Make sure this thing's balanced. Okay, that looks good. This camera looks good. We're live at the same time. What's up, everybody? We're gonna have an interview with the Swede. Sounds different, right? His name is not Adam. It's
Adam.
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 Okay, his name is Adam. Hold on, turn around the camera here. All right, so this is Adam, right?
Yes, Adam from Sweden.
All right. And when did you first come here to the States?
Yeah, first time I've been to the States was like maybe 3 years ago. And I've been here 3 times before, but this time I was arriving like coming to another planet. Like I said before, science fiction for me. It's a big shock, and I mean it's not a big shock in a global perspective, but US have the picture in the world, like we spreading democracy. It's because of that we're going into this country and we want to give democracy. Yeah, fix your own fucking democracy instead of like and same with like we're gonna fight terrorism, but you still have terrorism here in North Dakota against the own citizens of this country. So in many ways this have been a shock in a Scandinavian perspective, because we actually have a real democracy beginning of October. And I was planning to stay here at Standing Rock, writing an article for a Swedish indigenous magazine. Maybe be here for 1 week, 2 weeks, and then go for a vacation in California. And then was my plan to leave this country in the beginning of November. But I'm still here in North Dakota.
So you were supposed to come for a week?
Yeah.
Okay, and you've been here how long then? What's your total?
Yeah, almost 2.5 months. Yeah, I'm almost a legal immigrant now, so...
You just need to get married, right?
Yeah.
All right. Well, one of the things I was curious about is...
Right, American friends, they talking about US in a way, it's like the shining star, it's the democracy, it's freedom. So I was not having the perfect image of this country before I got here. But coming here this time, even if I was here with like critical eyes, it's a big shock in many ways. To see the corruption, to see the racism from the police, from the citizens here in North Dakota, and the fact that this pipeline is illegal, and the local police forces and the police forces nationally, they protecting $1 billion company. And I mean, it's for me, it's like
just kind of your perspective on the United States versus Sweden, and is this your first time here, or you've been here before?
Yeah, I've been here 3 times before in US.
Okay.
And yeah, I know this country was a mess in many ways. I've seen the wars in the Middle East. I've seen a lot of refugees coming to Sweden. Sweden have taken action. Some specific towns in Sweden were taking in more refugees than the whole US from Iraq 1 year. So I've seen the messy things that this country have done in the world, and I was kind of critical to this whole country. A lot of my Swedish friends, some of my